Portland, Oregon, it has changed from a rough and tumble port and lumber town to a high-tech center with a lot of sophistication. But one thing that hasn't changed is it has been a center for antiques and vintage in the Northwest for over 50 years. And we are here to have some fun in that world. You can see the outdoor vendors are starting to get ready. There's a bunch of tents in the middle there. And some more people coming. I think they've got about 40 people outdoors this time. It's day 2 of the Rose City Vintage Market, and I am going to go outside and show you some of what's out here because there is a nice group of dealers outside this time. Laura Caldwell of Left Coast Revivals got this started last year. She was here shopping yesterday. She's not running this event this year, but we're very grateful for her getting it started again because the outdoor dealers really give an extra element, and there are a lot of them this year. This is fun, a Ghirardelli Chocolate Company Conestoga wagon. This is an advertising piece that looks like it's probably from the 70s, 80s. It's priced at $75. Conestoga wagons have a big following here in Oregon because, of course, the Oregon Trail ended here and a lot of people came over on these. What a great price, $135 for this patio set. And it does have some age and it could be easily painted or powder coated or just left the way it is. Great deal on that. These folks in the corner primarily have furniture. I really like these little Italian leather and chrome pieces from the 1970s. I've sold a few of those. They're designer. And here's a pair of these stools for $150. Again, seems like a good price. I think the prices outside are really good. I kept hearing from the people shopping here yesterday that they were. Some of the folks out here are specialists. You see a whole bunch of cowboy boots in this space. Better than ever, yes, that's how I feel about all this old stuff. Here's these huge bottles that would have been from tabards originally, priced between $38 for the whiskey and $85 for the brut, and that's actually a fair price. I've sold those big champagne bottles for as much as $100 before. Wonderful print here, Elton Bennett, the Sea Watch. Elton Bennett was a famous artist who did these serigraphs here in Washington State, and he died early. He was killed in 1974 in an accident, and ever since then his stuff has gone up in popularity and value. I really like the color scheme in this. Most of his things had to do with coastal living. Ooh, the Barbie Country Camper. The swingin'est camper on wheels, so you know that's early 70s because things were still swinging. In fact, it says 1970 Mattel right on it. That's a pretty neat piece, and it is priced at $65, which to have the original box I think is pretty good. Westmoreland powder pigeons. I always thought this was a really cute little animal, and they're only $5 a piece. These are from the early 80s, right before they went out of business. These are the folks who had the pre-prohibition glasses last year, and they've got some more selection this year. This one's interesting in that it's Ruby Flash, Everett Liquor Company. We don't see a lot of the Ruby Flash, but they've got them from all over the place. Liquor stores here in Portland, a distillery in Maryland. They're very collectible. A lot of people collect from the area they live in, but some people are looking for graphics like these on the Sunnybrook Pure Food Whiskey. I wonder what that means. I have not considered whiskey as food in the past. It's $150 because it's hard to find, but this is a great 1950s Western pattern. This is part of the Winchester 73 line, and this is by Vernon Kills. And it's got the signature of the artist in it. They gave their artist credit, which I think is pretty great. They've also got some really good pieces of Denby here. This is the pink gypsy pattern. I sold my entire set. And so I know there's collectors for these. I sold mine in Seattle. They've got several pieces here. The casserole is $65. The coffee server and the tea server are $55 and $45. Or actually, I guess those are both coffee server because they have the high spout, just different sizes. And here's some other patterns of Denby. This is the minstrel pattern. This is really fun with the green flowers, and then arabesque is a great pattern too. Denby is really good stuff, and it's well marked in this era, so you should be able to find it. I sold a Born Denby marked planter on my eBay recently.
But I was able to find about it. They only made that color in 1 year. Like
yeah.
56, 57.
Yeah, this is a scarce color in Blanco. You're right. It is. It wasn't made very long, and it's an interesting shape, and I think your price on it is great.
Awesome. And then we found this that we've had for a while.
Oh, that's very pretty.
And then it's got that on the back.
A wedding gift to Mrs. Garling in 1896. Aw, that's very sweet. Yeah, that's about the time people started really being interested in these floral patterns. It's kind of the precursor to the Gibson Girl era. That's
Right.
really neat. I'm sure it's Limoges.
And then it was passed on in 39.
Right, exactly. Probably to a granddaughter. Oh, that's neat. Well,
So,
someone can put it in their house and then pass it along too.
right.
That is cool.
So,
And then I was actually glad to see one of these because you have everything, and a lot of people haven't seen these coffee pots from the 30s with all the pieces. And so
right. And it works. It's got the cord.
it's
I
got the
love finding
cord.
stuff like this.
It's so great. It's even got the original filter in it. It's got the piece down in the bottom, and it's got the hot plate trivet, which
Right.
is unusual too. So that's great to see all together. People find pieces of these at estate sales, but not the whole thing usually.
And
Oh.
I always try and make sure I have the cords for these things.
Oh, that really helps. Yes. Oh,
And make
that's an
sure-
early one.
And
Wow.
make sure they work.
Look at that, an Everhot roasterette. That is really cool. Yeah, that looks like it's maybe 1940-ish, and people don't realize that they did anything that looked like what we think of as a crock pot back then, but there it is.
Right. And then this guy down here, he's not a remake. He's an original.
Oh, no, I know. My friend had that exact one when we were in college, and I think hers still works, but it's
Right.
not as clean as that.
And they are remaking these days.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But
interesting
this
to
is a
know.
modern one, and there's almost no scratching. on
No,
this thing,
no, it's perfect. I don't think anyone ever used it.
Right.
And it's by West Bend, the West Bend slow cooker. Of course,
Right.
you know, they weren't famous enough for the Penguin hot and cold keeper that we see everywhere.
Right. Growing up, my mom always called this the bean cooker.
Yep. That's great. Oh, well, thank you for sharing those with us.
So,
Hello. How are you? This is Marie. She's getting ready for opening, and I'm going to have to do that too. So I'm going to buzz through really quickly, but I wanted to show. See, there are all sorts of stuff. All these CBS Video Library Star Treks. I mean, you'll find a lot of things, old boom boxes, things that are collectible now that a lot of people haven't woken up to being collectible yet. And what a great blacklight poster. You know, I love the blacklight posters. Jungle Cat.
Good morning, George.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Oh, this is so fun. Bride of Frankenstein. Wow.
That's a prototype from the actual movie. That's not one of the newer ones.
How in the world did you come up with that?
I have connections.
I bet. That's good. He has connections to the underworld, apparently. That is really awesome.
Mexico, and then about the 1930s time frame, whenever that movie came out.
Oh, that's really neat. I'll be gentle with it because I know with old rubberized things, you don't want to press them too hard because they'll crack. But that is
You can see
really cool.
I don't have provenance with it, but I do have there's a connector, some sort of right here.
Aw,
And
that's fantastic. Oh my gosh.
there she is, all in her glory.
I want to give her a kiss.
What I do is mostly collectibles, gold, silver.
Uh-huh. This is really a great seed catalog, and it's neat, this design. I mean, I realized this was something that they had done, but it almost looks like tramp art. If you had a tramp art collection, it'd go well with it. On
Each one of
lots
this
of
is-
segmented drawers.
All of them, and they're all in perfect shape.
Oh, how nice. And then you could take it out if you need it. Yeah, so many people are buying these for storing collections of everything from shells to marbles to costume jewelry. I mean, it's
I think
just
the gentleman that had
fantastic.
this before had some sort of,
Nuts,
nuts and
bolts,
bolts.
screws,
but
yep.
he never got, they're not dirty. And
No.
he even went along and put some pricing on side so we could tell what they were.
Oh, that's fantastic. This is a beautiful red French boulet clock here. And it says that it works and has the keys, and it is priced at $1,400. Look at the beautiful design here. And interesting, we have the coque on top. I have a mirror that's French from the same era that also has that design. They would be very happy together. This will shade my eyes while I'm out here, and I decided I needed a respectable hat today. This one's priced at $100. These old firefighter hats usually are about that if they've got the inserts like this. Wow, look at that great hooked rug with the mushrooms and the leaves in it. Fall colors galore, a lot of nice quilts, some chenille. $80 on this chenille. This is a large one, which is nice, and the colors are good. And strawberry shortcake. I saw a lot of strawberry shortcake around. This is something that is definitely very collectible now, and this looks like it is a sleeping bag. I can't imagine too many of these survived. Old mercury glass sprays from the 1940s and 50s are something people really enjoy in Christmas decorating today. So if you have these, be aware they actually sell for a little bit of money individually now. Some great old signs here. United Cigars is 1,000 because it's cigars. People are interested. You know, a lot of sign collecting has to do with how interesting is this motif to the collector. A French horn. I sat next to the French horns when I was a saxophone player in the woodwind section. This is Harvey's Trading Company. This is a new dealer, and it's very exciting to see new people coming to this show, and they've got some really cool stuff. I love these old chaise lounges from the 60s, this particular style. They've got Union 76 map service back when people had to get maps before GPS. See a lot of the local shops participating in this and selling outside and also promoting their brand. This is a place called That One Vintage Shop in Milwaukee, Oregon, which is a suburb of Portland here, and they have cool stuff, and they've got a bunch of vintage fashion amongst other things. I really like this coat right here on the front. It looks like a 70s era, and sure enough, from Wilson's House of Suede and Leather, that's where I got my stuff back in the early 80s. $62. That seems like a good price. I'm sure it was more than that new. Pair of very pink jeans. We have to realize that nostalgia for younger people is going to be the stuff they had when they were kids. So there's a lot of 1970s, 80s, even 90s stuff that people are starting to collect in terms of toys and dolls. And we have a whole bunch of the different Barbies and related family members here. Also Care Bears and Popples. The Popples is one of the last of the metal Aladdin lunchboxes from the early 1980s. Like the Flower Power spoon rest there. And then look at this very cute, very pastel, very Eastery display, I would say. Fun. So this is your first time, and this is, are you involved in any shops around Portland, or?
No, I pretty much do pop-ups at bars. You know how they have a little
Oh,
pop-up
yeah.
markets? Yeah. So this is,
How cool.
I did Thrift-a-Palooza. That was here. That was my first one.
And what's your name?
I'm Heidi.
Heidi, well, it's great to meet you. We're so excited to have first-time vendors here. So you've done a lot of pop-up shows and that sort of thing, and how does this compare?
Well, there's a lot more involved.
Yes.
But a lot more clientele. So
Right.
Obviously a lot of people come from all over to come here.
Exactly. I had someone who came all the way from Wisconsin. I was just blown away. I know.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, the bar pop-ups are fun, but it's mostly just people in the neighborhood.
Right, exactly. So
So-
you sell different things. And what sort of stuff have you sold this weekend?
I've sold a lot of nostalgic toys.
Yes, you've got them.
Strawberry shortcake, Barbies, a lot of cute little knickknacks. But yeah, people come by and they're like, "Oh my God, my childhood! Here it is."
That's so cool.
It's really
Yeah,
fun.
nostalgia is
Yes.
what gets people collecting. So,
Yeah,
oh, that's
absolutely.
really great. And you have the best earrings ever.
Thank you. These are actually by a local Portland maker, Honey Loom Design.
Oh, very cool.
Great. I have like 6 pairs of her.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
It's so funny. Right after she said that, this gal walked up and said, "Hey, I used to have all this stuff when I was a kid." So there you go. That's our future generations. This is a cute space with some very stylish things, and then a lot of cute little things up on the front here. Sari Gamp from the Royal Dalton line. The little dog head is actually, I believe, part of this. This looks like it's some sort of a little pillbox or something. Look how sweet that is. I believe that's Japanese, probably 1950s or 60s. This one was a little creamer. Airtay plates, as collector plates go, do sell for a little bit of a premium and are more likely to sell than most other ones because it was a little bit more limited in production, and because Airtay is just such high style and to collect his art is extremely expensive now. So collector plates are an option for people. Just a lot of fun and color, and boy, there are a lot of vendors out here. It's really great to have this adjunct to the rest of the show. Falling for treasures. A lot of the folks here seem to have information about their online and other real world selling here. This is not Keen, but it is definitely somebody who is aping that style back in the day, and it has the Ashbrook signature. Ashbrook was factory art like Lee Reynolds. It wasn't really a particular artist. It was a house that did things like this, but this is big, and it's the era, and it's the look, and it's priced at $175. Michelle's Mercantile is very cute. I wish I had more time to spend, but I'm going to have to get in and open my booth in just about 5 to 10 minutes here. So I'm going to buzz through the rest of these just so you get a feel of what the outdoor market is like. I think there's some deals here I'm passing by. Odd and Vintage is such a great name. I just had to show that. Here's a piece of circa 1970 French provincial, quote unquote, style furniture, but someone has had fun and decoupaged the top. And that is really cute, actually. A lot of this furniture, honestly, varies in quality. It can have cigarette burns, cocktail stains. Some of those finishes are very, very hard to restore. And so decoupaging is something that we see people doing to give interest to something that otherwise wouldn't look good. Now, outdoors is also a little more flexible as far as age goes. So you will see some relatively contemporary furniture, but you also see some pretty cool studio pieces. This one is a lamp that is signed here by Harold of San Diego. Stoneware from about 1980-85 period. Laura Caldwell has taught us all to appreciate wood more, and they've got a bunch of monkey pod here from Hawaii and the Philippines from the 1970s. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm really enjoying your space. How are you doing here? Good. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Well, you have some really fun things. I really like the vintage bamboo phone chair. If I had a place for that, I'd take that home. That's my kind of furniture right there.
Isn't it fun?
It's really great.
I hope it finds a home today.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's maybe just living with me.
Right, exactly. Fun flea markets, vintage hunting, bargain hunting, traveling and seeing beautiful gardens. All of these things are part of this channel, and we want you to be part of it too. So if you haven't subscribed, please hit that join button now, or look for the subscribe information in the links below the dash line in the description of any video. All you have to do is hit that button and then click the bell to be notified of future videos, and you can come along with us on all of our adventures. Vintage and modern clothing here. And uranium glass. We knew we were going to find a bunch of uranium glass if we looked hard enough. I have not seen a bunch of Green Depression here up until I found this table. And I particularly like these 1930s pieces. These little salt and pepper shakers and small canisters. They've got $80 for the set, which is pretty fair for that. Nice pair of sconces here. These are the Budweiser ones, and these are popular. And they did come in pairs. I see people sell them singly, but pairs are what they usually were, and $250 is about the going rate on these now, it seems. Space has everything from sporting memorabilia to videos, DVDs, costume jewelry. So there's just a lot of fun things to see here. And I mean, look at the prices, $5 each on pins. That's fantastic. And I see a few that are pretty neat in there. So I might have to do some shopping. These folks are wonderful friends of mine from here in Oregon, and they are selling for the first time. And wow, they have such great stuff. I love the butterfly wing tray, of course, but they've just got really neat stuff. I know ceramics are kind of their bag, so I'm expecting to see some pretty good ones. Nice bushberry double cornucopia here. A good piece of Roseville silhouette in the orange there. I sold mine in the ruddy glaze yesterday. Here's Matthew Adams. This is his Alaska line, and this is the stuff that he did after he basically took the contract and everything he learned from Sasha Brostoff and went out on his own. Francoma bamboo vases. A nice Blanco pitcher here. I actually sold my blue version of this yesterday, and they've got 80 on theirs, which is about the price I got for mine. Look at these. These are so fun. A bunch of these are Hagen Renneker, like this set here. Others are by Dealey Ceramics. This one with Pewee on the front is a Dealey piece. And there's Fooey and Stinky. Sometimes they have their little labels on still. They're just really fun. A lot of this started actually in the Second World War. They made skunks that had Hitler's face on them early in the war. And then that morphed into a cuter version of skunk that we could all love. $35 on the Shawnee train is a good price there. And I like the Mexican leathered purses. So they've got a really nice variety. Only $25 on that one in really good shape, and $20 on that. I think these prices are terrific. They've got a little bit of Blue Mountain pottery, including this unusual glaze I wanted to show. This is not the green splash. It is a later glaze that was only done for a brief period of time right before they went out of business. This is the green splash we're more familiar with. And the Mexican figures at prayer. I've always liked this set too. It's a nativity scene. We don't have the baby Jesus, but we have the other pieces, and it's $25 for all of it. And a nice set of Arabia. Rija is the pattern from about 1980. Big section of Hot Wheels. So this is just becoming a really fun part of this annual event. I believe the outdoor dealers are only here in the summertime, because weather in October when the next show is might be iffy. Cute as can be. Look at the kidney-shaped Formica, this little drafting table with the stool. Stool could be reupholstered, but only $50 for the set. I mean, that'd be a great thing to sit a grandchild at to do their art projects. Friend Glenn is showing here for the first time. I used to get to set up next to him in Packwood. He has great stuff. I showed you a little of it earlier. And he's got a crowd, which is wonderful, except it means I have a crowd inside, which means I have to go get open. But he brings a lot. He's very knowledgeable. He's been a dealer in the Tacoma, Washington area for a long time. So I am going to head in and get open because I have to, but the outdoor event is really taking shape, and it's really fun to have this adjunct to what's going on inside the building. The tall trees tell us we're in the Northwest, and we will be back to show you the rest of this show, but you're going to have to wait a little bit because we're coming back to the Rose City Vintage Market in October, and we will release the interior video right before then so that you can get the flavor for what the show is like and see my space and the kind of things that I bring. We look forward to seeing you then here on YouTube and again at the show in October. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.